Doris Schwartz came into being. She was definitely a combination of Bill Blinn, who was our writer and producer, his wonderful sense of writing and his idea of who she was based on who I was, and based a bit on who she had been in the movie to everybody else, the sort of caretaker and, a little bit of an underdog, a little bit of somebody finding themselves. And I think the longer the series went on, the more of me Doris took on. And I always feel that she had the best of what had been my being 14 and 15 and 16 years old. By the time I was playing her, I was 22. And, I was playing her a lot with a lot of loving hindsight towards my adolescence. And so she got like the best of my adolescence. And even when I had to go through things as her, which were painful because they reminded me of the things I had gone through at that same age. And in many ways, I think that was the most powerful stuff I got to do with her. And certainly seems to be the most powerful stuff when I meet people and they tell me how much they related to the character and they related to her struggles and her, and kind of coming through and the painfulness of emerging at that age. Her emerging was my emerging, and I loved, wrapping myself in her because she was, warm, and in many ways she was more comfortable than I was at that same age. And everybody I meet, it's very funny. People have a very, very warm reaction to Doris. They feel very comfortable. They feel immediately comfortable with me when they see me on the street in the same way that they felt comfortable with the character. It was not a character that people were like in awe of or afraid to approach. People always approach me very much like I'm their family or their sister or their best friend. And I think that had a lot to do with the character. And if you had told me at the time that I would go and do this character and that, 20 years from then, this character, she would still have such an impact on people that people would write me fan letters and say that, they had watched this character and now their children were watching this character and their children love the character like they love the character, but that people would still stop me. Everywhere in the world I would go, people would still stop me and they would say, if they would only know, the only words in English they would know would be fame or Doris. They would somehow translate to me that they had really cared about the character and cared about the show, and that the show meant so much to them. And I think part of why that is because it was a show about achieving your dreams, about meeting those places in you, the deep places of wanting to create and shine and having the place to do it. And I also don't think there was anything ever like Fame again. I think what happened is by the time Fame was getting ready to, bid a farewell at the end of its 6th year, MTV had been born and was starting to really, sprout big wings. And that was leading, sort of music and numbers and stuff like that in a much bigger and different direction. And so I don't think there was anything else that followed it that had both the stories and the music and the, kind of the ensemble work together that also seemed like stuff that anybody could do. I mean, anybody could really do those things. So, I mean, I still love watching. I watch the episodes with younger children in my family and children of friends. And it's really wonderful for me to see them and to see them enjoy them as well. It really lets me know that they hold up after all these years.